Okay guys, so got this nice medium-sized otter here. We're gonna do the fur handling on him there. We'll do 3 parts once again. First part skinning, second part fleshing, and then third part boarding. So we'll get this guy up and get to skinning him. Okay, so we got our otter hanging up here. I've got it hung up on my skinning machine, just on my opening cut clamp. We're got a little fur brush here. Usually they're pretty clean. Try to wash them off whenever I get them, just to make sure there's no mats or anything that might impede the skinning process. We'll brush them out here a little bit. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're just going to cut off his feet here. We're going to cut them off as long as we can. They don't have real long arms, so we're going to save as much as we can. If we need to cut them off, we can do that in the boarding process. So we'll just go just right by the pad there. We'll cut that foot off, and then we will do the same. Just go right behind the pad, just wring it just like a beaver. Just give it a little twist there, and then you can get your knife back in, cut the foot off. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to make our opening cut. Pretty important on an otter. For those of you that done possums, it's real similar. We're going to take and we're going to start right at the middle of the pad with our first cut knife. We're going to go up the foot, and then we're just going to follow around. We're going to just skirt the vent here, and then we're going to go right behind the vent. Okay? Pretty straightforward. We're just going to take our skinning knife then, and we're going to skin right around the feet here. Get back behind them. We get all that fur we can, skin right up the foot. Okay? Give that a little pull with our... Alright, next what we're going to do is we're just going to make just a slight cut just across the vent before we turn him. Just kind of taking the vent out of the equation. Okay, next we're just going to switch feet, and then we're going to do it just same again. Start the middle of the pad, follow that line right up to the vent, go right behind the vent, and then simply do the same thing that we did with the other feet. Just free up that foot. So we can get our knife in there. We're going to cut all the way up the foot, get as much of the fur as you can, and then give that a little tug. And pull down. That's all freed up now. As you can see. Okay, now next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hang him up on my gambrel here, just so I can get a little bit better elevation wise. I can raise this gambrel up and down rather than just working right here. So we'll stick him in the gambrel. We'll raise him up a little bit. That kind of squares him up. Now we're looking right at the tail here. We'll just take our knife. We'll just kind of free up that around the tail. Okay, now otters' tails are pretty important. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we keep everything nice and square. We're going to go down about 2/3 of the way. We're going to cut inside the tail, keeping it centered, and cut straight up. Okay? We're going to skin down that tail a little ways. On both sides. Just freeing the tail up. Once we get that freed up, we can just pull it down. Pretty easy. Once again, working it down. Always cutting into the tail. That way, in case your knife would slip, you're not cutting the fur. And because they have such a thick tail, we're going to work it down a good ways until we can get our tail stripper on the tail. Once we do that, simply grab a hold of the tail, pull it right out. We'll then take our tail zip here. We'll finish off splitting the tail all the way down. Now then, now we'll just take our otter and we'll work the hide down a little ways. We're going to come around to the front, free him up a little bit. This is a male otter, so we're going to work around the penis here, get that freed up. I'll raise him up a little bit just to keep him in the camera for you guys. Okay, now we've got that free. Now we can kind of go to pulling on him. I don't pull them with my machine. Don't want to take a chance of tearing or ripping the otter, so we're just gonna pull down by hand. They're pretty fatty creatures, so they pull pretty easy. There's a membrane on each side. You know, you just have to kind of just work it down with your knife and just go to cutting a little bit. Raise them up a little bit for you. And then we'll just work them on down. You can see just by working the otter down, he pulls really fairly easy. I'll raise him up again for him. Always trying to work, you know, for the most part in front of you. Just pulling that hide down, working it down. Try not to use my knife if at all possible. Okay, so let me raise it up to get it in camera. Now you can see we've got down to the arms here. We cut our arms off, so it's going to be real easy to pull them out. We're just going to take a steel here and insert it in. Just kind of free up around the arms. Take a little knife if you need to. Always cutting into the pelt, into the skin like. So if you don't cut into the pelt, you never want to cut down with your knife. You always want to cut in. Especially around the arm area. You know, sometimes it's somewhat difficult to distinguish where you need to be. Like I said, just free up that arm. Get down to the end here. Towards the end of the arm, you can feel it. Get close to the end. And it just pulls right out, see, because we took that paw. So you don't have to worry about the claws or anything. Otters do have fairly sharp claws on their front feet. You don't have to worry about them. Cutting the hide. We'll do the same here to the other side. Just using our steel. Free up the arm. Work it down a little ways. Like I said, especially on otters, I'd rather just go ahead and pull more if I can, rather than using my knife. You know, they're stretched fur in rather, so you know any imperfections you can see. Okay, we got the arms out. Just give them another little tug. We'll just keep working them. Keep working them down. Cutting a little here as we go. Working down to the head here. Otter's ears are on the side of their heads. So we'll get down here. There's the ear. We'll cut that off. You can see right on the side of their head. Don't want no big ear holes. We'll come around here to the other side. Cut that ear off. Just pull everything down. Next will come the eyes here. You can feel the eye socket. Once again, we want nice small eyes. Don't want big eye holes. So just take our knife, working in. Once we cut the eyes, we can cut where the jaw starts, and once you cut that, that'll give you a little hand hole right there. You can kind of get your finger in and give it yourself some leverage. Come around to the back side. Free up a little bit around that bottom lip area. Give another little pull. Once again, with otters, for the most part, an otter is a pretty worthwhile animal to put up. You know, they're usually demand a pretty good price, so you know, there's no need to get in a hurry. You know, with them, just slowly work them. Take your time with them. We get down here to the bottom lip, and what I usually do is get to the canines and then just cut the rest off. There's no need for a bottom lip, but that gives you a little bit to work with. You can cut what you need off in the boarding process. Next, we're going to work right down to the end of the nose there. You can feel where the skull ends and the cartilage ends, and just simply cut it off. So there's our otter. A real nice otter there. We're going to turn him inside out here, and I like to take him and put him in the refrigerator. I don't like to wash my otters in my washing machine. It's a good way to singe that fur. If you do have some blood on it, you know, hand wash it in a bucket and let it air dry. But usually if you get them clean, there's no blood really involved with the skinning part. So we'll just take him and just turn him just like so, just like a sock. We'll turn him inside out right again. I'll put him in the refrigerator just for overnight, let the fat harden up on him, and then part two will be scraping the otter. So we'll see you guys then.